Zoumana Camara is a 24-year-old defender whose career so far has taken in Saint-Etienne, Marseille, Lyon, and even a short spell at Inter Milan. And Lamine Sacco, who was born in Senegal but became a French citizen, has been capped by France at under-21 level. He's described by Peter Reid as another Harry Kewell type who will play on the left of midfield today but can play up front. Alan Wiley is the man in charge, just as he was for the corresponding fixture last season, which Newcastle won 3-0, their third consecutive victory on this ground. In fact, they've won on 6 of their last 8 visits to Ellen Road. But remember, Leeds have an even prouder record, the only club in Premiership history who've never lost on the opening weekend of a new season. Can, I wonder, they preserve that record today? Boos for Lee Bowyer, despite that friendly banner that we saw as the teams ran out. Gary Speed, another former Ellen Road favourite, of course. Benar for Newcastle in their change strip of all black today. Peter Reid says that Leeds can't possibly play any worse than they did in pre-season games, and he's warned that they'll be badly beaten unless there's a big improvement in attitude. Had a fallout with Viduka, but says since then his attitude has been excellent on the training ground. Viduka just misses out on his first touch as Speed cleared the ball ahead of him. Sacco brought down. Welcome to the Premiership. He's quick. Good left foot, good crosser of the ball. Aaron Hughes catching him then. And Sacco in possession again. Johnson, Smith. Good early build-up here from the home side. Sacco, who many of the supporters would have seen much of. He did figure in a couple of the pre-season games, but mainly as a striker alongside Viduka or Smith. And he's won Leeds' first throw in a good position here. Smith's layoff back to Matteo. Johnson. Smith with the first effort. Peter Reid says it's going to be a big season for Alan Smith. He wants all the enthusiasm and aggression that we know he possesses, but he wants it channeled properly.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's know about Alan Smith's strengths, but there's also a lot of weaknesses there. I think just looking at some of the notes beforehand, sent off 9 times already in his career, which is incredible statistic when you think how young he is, but I think everybody's aware of his combative quality. He's just got to channel those in the right direction.
Here's Bellamy finding Robert. Frenchman a bit short with that ball. Sacco again, seeing plenty of the ball early on in his Premiership debut. Smith's layoff to Matteo, who captains Leeds United. That's a good ball too for Viduka. Took it well at full stretch. Not easy. Throws down by a former teammate Woodgate. And Newcastle win it back comfortably in the end. A warm day, but nothing like as hot as the pre-season temperatures and the training temperatures these players have endured. Robert with the first effort for the visitors.
There's no surprises to see Robert have a strike on goal. I think he had the most strikes last season during the course of the Premier League, and we talked about really midfield players getting more goals for Newcastle United. It's a real surprise that he doesn't get more, because he does pack a punch with that left foot. That time woeful.
In 11 previous seasons in the Premiership, Leeds have won their first game 5 times, drawn the other 6, and they haven't even let a goal in on the last 5 opening day fixtures. Foul on Robert by Wilcox, playing on the right of midfield rather than his more accustomed role on the left to accommodate Sacco.
Just noticed Peter Reid's up, obviously. I think he's particularly happy. The last 2 balls that have gone from back to front from Newcastle haven't really been channeled by the 2 Leeds United centre-backs of Radaby or Kamara, and I think he'll be hoping they don't stand off Bellamy and Shearer, let them have it all on their own.
Shearer let that one run, presumably got the shout from Woodgate behind him. Good control by Viduka and an excellent layup. Sacco's got pace and good crossing ability. Matteo. Johnson. Kelly, now his 13th season at Ellen Road, their longest serving player. Header away by Hughes, brought in instead of Andy Griffin at right back because of his aerial strength. Smith. Closed down quickly by Woodgate. Two old pals. Bernard making it difficult for the England international, who is fouled by the Frenchman.
He did very well, didn't he? I think there was nowhere for him to go, Alan Smith, and he just really conned the officials into giving him a free kick.
Taken quickly, played in by Morris, and then away by Woodgate. Wilcox. Dangerous ball, Sacco on the back post. Came off Hughes for the first corner for Leeds United.
They've been quite nice and neat and tidy, haven't they, Leeds United? This start, they've been bright, they've been very sensible about the approach to this game. They need to make it competitive, they need to put Newcastle United under pressure.
Lucas Radebe has joined Viduka in the box. Cameron, the other centre-back, has stayed in his own half, just over Radebe's head. Wilcox finds Sacco. Clever ball in. Hughes with the clearance. Smith. And given first to react, he had a magnificent game in midweek against Partizan Belgrade, the Irish international. Dyer, named in the full England squad for the match against Croatia next week. Speed, who will represent Wales as well. Bernard. Well, I think the gentleman welcoming back Lee Bowyer was probably in the minority, judging by the response of most Leeds fans. They don't seem to feel the same way about Woodgate, however. Bernard caught by Smith.
Certainly been difficult, hasn't it, for Peter during the course of pre-season. You know, there's been a lot of discontent around the football club, and he's really trying to unite everybody. I think that's one of his strengths as a manager. You know, he does bring together people well.
Shearer's header just in behind Bellamy, cleared by Kelly. This is Hughes for Newcastle, who were third last season after finishing in the bottom half of the Premiership in 4 of the previous 5 campaigns. It was their highest position since they were runners-up 6 years ago. Speed did well. Bowyer takes over and did very well. Dyer. Here's Gary Speed again. Won a championship medal in his time here 11 years ago. Played over 300 games for Leeds. And he has gained Newcastle their first corner. Speed himself, a real threat in the air. Woodgate, Shearer, of course. Referee saw an infringement, foul by Woodgate.
That was a correct decision. I think Alan Wilder got absolutely spot on. He was in a perfect position. Jonathan Woodgate just leaning on camera as the ball came in from Robert.
Newcastle finished with 69 points last season, 2 ahead of Chelsea in 4th, 9 adrift of the runners-up Arsenal. And if they're going to improve this season, they'll certainly have to do better away from home. They only won 6 matches on opponents' territory last season, compared to 15 out of 19 wins at home. Sacco. Wilcox. Just caught there, no foul though. Kelly. In again to Sacco, who can head the ball too, by the looks of things. The Leeds fans impressed by his early contribution.
Yeah, I think that'll help him as well, getting the ball so much in the early 7 or 8 minutes. I think that'll give him a chance to settle, get his confidence, get on the ball, and do what he does very well, and that's going at defenders.
Alan Smith. Don't know how on earth he retained possession there. Given to Newcastle's rescue again. Olivier Bernard. Bellamy already on the run, just a bit too strong, and he was offside anyway.
Well, I talked about one of the features, I think, of how Leeds United deal with the runs of Kieran Dyer. And as we can see in that shot, Seth Johnson is the player that is designated to mark Dyer. Whenever that ball has gone into Kieran Dyer's feet, so far Johnson has been snapping at his heels. And we haven't really seen the trademark surges from midfield of Kieran Dyer.
Sacco getting up well. This is Bernard. Fellow Frenchman Robert gives it him back. Speed. Controlled possession by Newcastle. Woodgate, another who had a splendid performance against Partizan Belgrade in the Champions League qualifier. Kelly. Verduca making the run, but Woodgate with the firm header clear. Camara. Wilcox on for Smith, but out of play. Strangely enough, going back to Leeds' amazing opening day record, the last club to beat them in the first match of a new season was Newcastle 13 years ago. A 5-2 win at St James's Park. Mickey Quinn got 4 of them. Hughes. Booze will tell you it's Boya. Good tackle by Radovic. Not a bad effort from that range by Robert, and Robinson had to hold on to that. Shearer was waiting for any spillage.
Oh, we said that he does like a strike on goal. Robert was a very, very clever nutmeg on Seth Johnson to get himself into that position.
There's Johnson. The ball for Sacco was perfect, but offside. The home fans certainly believe that was a close call.
Well, I think it was close. I think he's a little bit unfortunate, but it's an excellent run, you know, because he knows where he wants the ball to play, and perhaps just a little bit earlier, but that is a very, very tight decision from the referee's assistant.
Former French under-21 international Sacco, on a year's loan, remember, from Marseille. He scored 5 times in 29 games for them in the French league last season.
Well, Peter knows that he hasn't got money available to go out and sign players for reasonable money, never mind big money, so he knows he's got to try and pick 1 or 2 players up, perhaps use the loan system.
Here's Bellamy. Robert ahead of him in space. Shearer on the far post. Pulled it behind him. Oh, Shearer's furious.
What a great chance. And you can understand why Alan Shearer would be furious. Unfortunately, I don't think Laurent Robert's got anything in his mind when he gets himself into that position. Because if he knew that Alan Shearer was there at the far post and no one marking him, then you would have backed the Frenchman to pick him out.
Smith. Seth Johnson. Leeds 15th last season after finishing in the top 5 of the Premiership in each of the previous 5 campaigns. It was their lowest position for 10 years, and of course it was the penultimate game before they could be certain of their Premiership status. That win against Arsenal at Highbury that also handed the title to Manchester United. Kelly gets there ahead of Robert. Now Wilcox for Leeds. Sacco the target again. Brilliant. Good ball in. Verduca. Smith.
Oh, what a chance. And he knows it as well. It really wasn't amongst the goals last season, Alan Smith, but it was an early chance. But it's this man that really has been in scintillating form at the opening of this game. He really has played superbly well in this opening period. He really toyed and teased with this Newcastle United back 4. And he's put in a delightful cross that Verduca does well to muscle around the direction of Alan Smith.
3 debutants in this Leeds side, and there's no doubt who's made the biggest impression so far. Kieran Dyer. Speed. Robert. Good football. Bellamy. Bernard joins the attack. Shearer's peeled away to the far post, but the cross stopped by Kelly. Corner, the outcome.
Well, he got there in the end, didn't he, Gary Kelly? I think it looked as if he'd done the initial job very well indeed, but full credit to Bernard. He stuck to his task. It was one side of corner.
O'Brien has come forward, number 5 there, along with Woodgate. Good clearance by Camara. Boya. It was a tough ball. It was brilliantly controlled by Robert. Now Bellamy. Good pace. Johnson concedes another corner.
Well, he's always a threat, isn't he, Craig Bellamy? When he faces you up, 1v1, got great pace. Loves to get in behind defenders.
Still the same threats for Leeds to deal with. Gary Speed, far side. Shearer making his run now. Woodgate and O'Brien. And it came to Boya.
That's a half chance, isn't it? Nothing more than that. Came to him on his left foot. I think he would have preferred it on his right. Alan Smith just gets the header in near post. Not cleared it far enough, but that's a difficult one to take.
Scored over 50 goals for Leeds in his time here. New name on the Leeds subs bench today, Aaron Lennon. If he comes on at 16 years and 4 months, he would become the youngest player in Premiership history. Foul given away by Gary Speed. Climbing all over Wilcox. Radaby. Sacco's header finds Smith. Great ball! What a clever effort.
You know, he knew exactly what he was trying to do there, Alan Smith. There's nothing really fluky or unlucky about that. You know, he's very, very close to converting this. But once again, look how well Sacco gets up there. You know, far on the left-hand side, excellent control. And that isn't far away. And I think Shay Given just off his line enough to be a little bit worried where that was dropping over his head.
Shearer wins the header. Away by Camara. Gary Speed gives it back to the Frenchman. Now Smith. Wilcox gave Woodgate a hard time, but it's a goal kick. Jonathan Woodgate, over 5 years, a Leeds United player, made almost 150 appearances.
I talked about the job that how important the job was going to be for Leeds United if Alan Smith and Martin Viduka got into the game very early. And I think they've been a threat. I think both O'Brien and Woodgate have known that they've been in the game early on. Smith in particular has backed into players very well, used his strength, been a little bit unfortunate with that lob, and very nearly went in behind Shay Given.
Robert. Given away to Jody Morris. Woodgate did well. Oh, Morris, a strong challenge on Robert. Here's Dyer. Hughes joins in. On to Boya. Dyer. I don't need to tell you when Boya's got it. The crowd do my job for me. Typically determined challenge by Alan Shearer, but safely through to Paul Robinson.
So far, really, the Newcastle hitman, he's just had bits and pieces, hasn't he, Alan Shearer? An awful lot of service to work from.
Smith was nudged by Woodgate.
It was a little bit fortunate, I think, Jonathan Woodgate. It was a clear push. The referee decided to give Smith the advantage.
Smith again, looking very lively. Kelly. Shearer. Speed came out with the ball and then a lovely pass, and he was caught as he played the ball wide to Boya. Referee might come back and have a look at that. On it goes from Bellamy to Kieran Dyer. Penalty surely. It is.
Well, for me, that's 10 out of 10 for the referee, Alan Wiley. He could have quite easily have blown for that tackle by Jason Wilcox on Gary Speed. Instead, he just allowed the play to continue. He had a look at it. He thought, no, Newcastle have got the advantage. They broke at speed. We talked about Kieran Dyer. There's the tackle. It's a little bit high. He can see there's men over here, and just look at the burst from Kieran Dyer. He waits and waits and waits. Good ability from Craig Bellamy to spot him, and as soon as he nudges that ball past Lucas Radebe, clear contact, clear penalty, and what a great chance for Newcastle to go ahead.
The skipper, Alan Shearer, will take the kick. He scored 17 goals in 17 games against Leeds, more than he's ever scored against any other Premiership club. Can he make it 18 in 18 and give Newcastle a lead? Yes, he can! Was there ever any doubt?
Well, I said up to now he's only had bits and pieces, Alan Shearer, and the first real chance is from the penalty spot, and he puts it away with great aplomb. And really, you don't expect anything less, do you, from the great man? What an incredible record he's got of scoring goals in the Premier League.
The Premiership's record goal scorer starts another season in familiar fashion. Kelly looking for Viduka as Leeds try to hit back straight away. Kelly again. Smith. Free kick for Leeds, who can consider themselves perhaps a little unfortunate to be behind. Well, there was no doubt about the validity of the penalty award. Jason Wilcox with a free kick. Killed it in towards Viduka. Now it's broken to Robert, who was caught badly by Wilcox. A very rash challenge that. Surely the referee's got to take action here.
I think it's just a clumsy tackle, isn't it? I think it's born out of frustration by Jason Wilcox. He's arguing he feels perhaps Robert went to ground far too early, but you know, Jason Wilcox was fortunate really with the tackle on Gary Speed, but they did get punished, of course, from the penalty by Alan Shearer. But this time I think Alan Wiley had a good look at it and enough time to think about it, deliberate, and now it's a yellow card.
First caution of the game for Jason Wilcox, not the way he wanted to celebrate his 100th appearance for Leeds United.
Well, Robert's clever enough really just to let the ball go and ride the tackle from Jason Wilcox, and it is slightly late and it's earned him a caution. So really he's had the double whammy, hasn't he, in the space of a couple of minutes.
Still discussing the incident with the Frenchman. I would describe that as a typical winger's tackle myself.
How would you know? You've never been a winger.
I've watched you often enough.
Well, I think this is fantastic advantage here. You know, there's the ball, the challenge there. You know, Jason Wilcox is high, but Alan Wiley feels that there's enough about that move to allow Newcastle possession. Bright play from Craig Bellamy. It's weighted to absolute perfection in the path of Kieran Dyer, and that's the first time in the opening 20 minutes or so that we've seen Kieran Dyer have a burst from midfield to a forward position, and he wins a penalty.
Well, there were some highly contentious penalties awarded yesterday. Nothing controversial about that one, as Viduka gives it away. Camara. Gary Speed on to Shearer. Camara wins it back and finds Smith. Wilcox looking for the run from Sacco, who was unlucky.
You can see what he's trying to do. He knew that Shea Given had advanced once more, and he was just trying to lob the ball over the goalkeeper. And it's a great shame, really, the goal against Leeds United, because they had started well enough.
Morris finds Sacco again. Now Viduka! 1-1!
Well, I think that's a deserved equaliser. I really do. I'll just say now, hard done by Leeds United would have been feeling to concede the penalty, and then they've got straight back into the game, and what a crucial time to score. Much to the delight of that man. He might not be showing it, but surprise, surprise, gets who's involved in the move. Sacco does brilliantly to take the ball down initially, and then great brightness just to thread the ball into the path of Mark Viduka. And there's the player. He might have had a few arguments and bust-ups with the manager pre-season, but he's the top goal scorer last year with 22 goals. And he set himself on course to be the top goal scorer this year with the opener for Leeds.
Well, this is traditionally a high-scoring fixture, and no reason to suppose that trend won't continue. Viduka, top scorer, in fact, in each of his 3 seasons at Ellen Road, has brought them level. Robert. One back by Radaby. Seth Johnson. Wilcox, good ball. Smith. Looking again for Viduka, and given with a splendid interception back to Sacco. Good tackle then by O'Brien. Harry Speed. Shearer. Oh, wonderful control on the chest. And gets it back from Robert. Foul by Jody Morris.
He's clever though, isn't he, Alan Shearer? How many times has he won free kicks like that? It's such an important time, and he knows it's an important time for his side because they've just conceded a goal. And now they need to settle again. Newcastle need to get some rhythm about their game.
Speed. The layoff by Bowyer too strong, or is it? Bellamy's won it back off Robinson. Well, I think Bellamy's probably the only player who would have kept chasing that lost cause.
Well, he's not happy, but I actually think that ball went out of play. And, you know, Paul Robinson, 1 or 2 people may well argue he's been very complacent here. You've rightly identified it. You know, Bellamy does keep going. He's got a lot of pace, and that ball, very, very close. Very close. It's a referee's assistant that flags. It's very belated flag.
Hold of the ball across the line, of course, is the law. Bellamy again. Well, he thought it was either going to be a throw or even a free kick. He's wrong.
It was interesting watching him the other night against Partizan Belgrade, the amount of provocation, and he did stand firm the majority of the time. He did pick up a yellow card. I'm sure that's one thing Bobby Robson would have instilled in him during pre-season. You know, he really needs to keep his cool more.
Radaby. At every opportunity, Leeds look to get the ball out left to Sacco. Why not? He started really well in his first Premiership game.
It's been a good outlet, hasn't he? And he only really joined his teammates about 10 days ago, and certainly made a big impression on the Leeds United fans in this opening period.
Push in the back by O'Brien on Viduka. Leeds just waiting for Lucas Radaby to make his way forward. A threat, although he's never scored a Premiership goal. And Viduka doing really well to evade O'Brien. Now, did that cross the line? The Newcastle fans believe it did, but the linesman's not interested. Matteo playing it in, and away by Woodgate. Camara, Sacco, Johnson. Radaby still forward from the earlier free kick. Alan Shearer for Newcastle. Great looking ball for Bellamy. And still Bellamy. And still Bellamy. Well, he had Robert perfectly placed on the far post, but went for goal himself.
Well, very nearly got caught out, didn't he, Leeds United, through the pace of Craig Bellamy. But a fantastic challenge there from Alan Smith. I really think he started the game superbly well. You know, there's a lot of talk, speculation about him leaving the football club at the moment, but the form he's in at the moment, no one will want to see him go.
Shame there for Viduka. He'd really done well to hold the ball up, then failed to find Wilcox. Real edge to this game. Hugely enjoyable opening 28 minutes or so. And despite selling Harry Kewell and Olivier Decour in the summer, Leeds, remember, are still over £70 million in debt. Frightening thought that they owe more money than Chelsea have spent in the summer. Hughes. Bowyer. Dyer. The man brought down, remember, for the Newcastle penalty. And he finds the scorer from the spot, Shearer. Bellamy's offside here.
That's better defending from Leeds United. You know, they were aware that Craig Bellamy's always looking to go in behind, so they all stepped up. Well, talking about back fours, I just wonder a couple of occasions really with Newcastle United when at times perhaps that they could just step up a little bit more. There's 2 or 3 occasions where Sakho has got in behind, perhaps on that occasion maybe not, but there may well have been claims that did Sakho handle the ball? I don't think so, but he was bright enough to make sure that that ball just went into the path of Mark Viduka, and Viduka did the rest and did it superbly well.
He's committed the foul here. And certainly in the opening half an hour, Leeds are playing a lot better than they evidently did in pre-season. They failed to win once in 6 games before the league campaign got underway, and that included matches against third division sides in Hull and York. Peter Reid was very angry, threatened big changes. Of course, he's got no money. He's had to deal in free transfers and loans since he took over here in March after 5 months out of work following his dismissal by Sunderland. And the man now controlling the purse strings, Professor John Mackenzie, the new chairman who replaced Peter Ridsdale in that role.
I think one thing he'll be delighted with, and the Leeds United fans will be delighted, is there seems to be a togetherness about the football team at the moment. And one of the things, you know, when you're trying to get through troubled times, it's about spirit, it's about teamwork, it's about staying together as a unit, as a group of people. And you know, that's what Peter's got to try and work on in the opening few months of this season. You know, he can't go out and spend money.
Robert's corner into the near post. That was dangerous. Went through a whole group of players to Bellamy. Oh, yeah. Well, Shearer thought he'd kept it in play, but he was wrong. Goal kick. Alan Shearer, who made his 600th appearance in club football in the UEFA match, or UEFA Champions League match, against Partizan Belgrade.
I think he'll be delighted with his debut so far. You know, he hasn't done an awful lot wrong, shown good pace. And I think it's important that he just does the simple things and the simple things well. And we're hoping that that partnership between Camara and Lucas Ridibi will hold firm against 2 extremely talented forwards in the shape of Bellamy and Shearer.
Foul by Woodgate on Smith. Wilcox into the heart, looking for Smith in the centre of that melee of players. Great ball out by Given, wasn't it? Straight to the feet of Boya. Dyer has got forward. Splendid header away by Lucas Radaby.
Well, as you rightly said, that all stemmed from Shea Given. Absolutely fabulous hard volley. He's pinged it all of 40-50 yards to Lee Bowyer on the right-hand side. And very nearly getting a goal from it. And that just shows you the advantage of a keeper that can distribute the ball very well with either hand or foot.
Well, it could have been forgiven for not wanting to take corners today. Wilcox gets it away. Bernard. Robert. Shearer was the target, easily cleared by Radaby. Johnson's lost out to Gary Speed. Handball was the shout, nothing given. Lee Bowyer. Smith's header was perfect. Wilcox. He's very swift, Bernard. And Wilcox brings him down. He's got to be slightly careful, Jason Wilcox. Got away with one challenge. Got caution for the next one.
Just again, frustration, isn't it, that Jason Wilcox? He knows he hasn't got the pace to go past Olivier Bernard. He knows, really, he's not on his favoured left-hand side of the field. You know, he's having to do a job on the right for Leeds United today, just to try and give them some balance. And one thing that he does do very well, though, he's very sensible about the way he plays, Jason Wilcox. He adds good shape to the side.
Shearer, great header on. Bellamy. Robert. And it's broken kindly for Leeds. Wilcox given away. Bernard. Late challenge by Johnson. I think he's going to become the second portion of the game.
Well, it's welcome back to Ellen Road, Lee. He's certainly dumped unceremoniously to the ground, and I don't think he can have any complaints about that. Seth Johnson, we know that he's a competitive player. That's certainly an area where Peter Reid will want to make sure that he doesn't lose that from his game. I think there's a huge amount of contact there. He's just late, really, and again, it's a player just trying to ride the tackle, but it's more intent than anything else that has resulted in Seth Johnson getting a yellow card.
Less than 10 minutes to half-time. 1-1. Very even match. Robert's free kick driven in. Well, that was an unusual effort. Gary Speed, I think, got a clout on the head there.
That was a fantastic ball, wasn't it, from Robert? The free kick, and it's Dominic Matteo and Gary Speed that go up to challenge, and I think we've seen over the course of many years the ability of Gary Speed to get into those areas and to get his head onto situations like that and score goals, but this time it's head-to-head.
And I believe the referees have been advised this season that players needing treatment for head injuries ought to leave the field before play continues. That's what he's telling Gary Speed, who obviously doesn't know about that new tweak to that particular law. They're saying, well, hang on, he's all right, he doesn't need to go off, but as I say, that's what referees have been told to do. It is silly, it is frustrating, it's not Mr. Wiley's fault.
Yeah. But you should be able to manage the situation as you see fit. Clearly, he's looking at both players, Alan Wiley, and thinking there's not a huge amount wrong with either. They've both had treatment, but to run off the field now and then to run 20, 30 yards back on the field, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, it just holds up everything.
And it was meant, I gather, to save time wastage when it was brought in by someone who clearly didn't know what he was doing.
There's your first rant of the season, anyway.
Yeah, we've nearly reached half-time. What did you expect? There's a great-looking ball for Smith.
He's been a threat, hasn't he, Alan Smith? You know, I think when he controls himself in the fashion that we've seen in this first half so far, then I think he's as good as anybody around in that area of the field. It's when he goes and does daft things like tackle people very, very late and gets himself red-carded, then that's where people look at him and think, yeah, there's a big question mark. But so far, so good for Leeds.
Smith, Wilcox. Kelly with the ball over the top. Sacco is offside. Well, I'm sure I hardly need to remind you, there's quite a tasty fixture that Jody Morris would love to have been playing in today for his old club, Chelsea. They visit Liverpool. A very different-looking Chelsea to Morris's day. Live on Sky later today. Bellamy. Boya. Stabbed away by Morris. Dyer wins it back for Newcastle. Now Robert. Johnson. Sacco's now moved in from the left. And lost out. Robert, he can hit them from here.
That's a good save from Paul Robinson. I don't think he really sees that until it's very, very late indeed. I think as a defender, in his way, but we've talked about it already. Robert does love to have a strike on goal, and unfortunately there's only Alan Shearer following up.
More abuse for Bowyer, but a very well-flighted corner in the end. Bowyer couldn't find the head of Shearer. Newcastle have lost just once in 10 previous visits to Ellen Road in the Premiership. That was 4 years ago. 6 wins and 3 draws, their record. Robert, Shearer. Knocked away for a throw by Camara. Bernard. Paducah's challenge, nothing wrong with it. Throw in to Leeds United, and Bernard and Wilcox get involved in a little bit of pushing and shoving. Good header from Woodgate, and then from Radaby. Kelly. Taken well by Smith, who's been outstanding in the first half. The commentator's curse strikes again.
That was a little bit unfortunate. He's just waiting and waiting and waiting until Jason Wilcox can support him. But had some fascinating battles all round the field. I talked in the build-up to the game about the spine of the side, but you know, when you look down the middle, you know, there's great little intriguing battles between centre forwards and centre backs. And I think also the 4 midfield players, you know, you look at Morris and Seth Johnson for Leeds, and Gary Speed and Kieran Dyer for Newcastle United. That's been an also good battle to watch.
Unlike Leeds, Newcastle had a very satisfying pre-season, including reaching the final of the inaugural Age Group Cup, of course, where they lost on penalties to Chelsea. Johnson with the ball, looking for the speed of Sacco. Oh, well played! Now then, an interesting decision for the referee to make. Free kick, I think, right on the edge of the box.
Well, it's certainly obstruction by Jonathan Woodgate. He does cut across Sacco. We talked already about the pace of the Frenchman, and he gets himself into a wonderful position. Again, in behind this Newcastle United back 4. And Jonathan Woodgate covering around. Now, this will be an interesting decision. I think it might just be a yellow card for Jonathan Woodgate. He is the last defender. He is coming across Sacco, but it is a potential goal-scoring situation.
Caution it is. The first Newcastle player yellow carded today. 2 already from the home side, Wilcox and Johnson. Paducah and Jody Morris, the 2 Leeds players over the ball. Looks as though it's being lined up for a shot by the big Aussie. That's pretty much his view of it. Paducah it is. Delicate rather than powerful. Sacco back in. And it comes to Johnson. The referee's whistle's already gone. Free kick to Newcastle.
That was a real battle, wasn't it? In there, and I think Jonathan Woodgate just cutting across the path of Sacco, but you can see that pace and good strength as well that he held defenders off. But well, Jonathan Woodgate, you know, we've seen time and time again, haven't we, where defenders being the last player between attacker and goal-scoring situations. And that certainly was the case there.
But Mr. Wiley's got everything right so far. In my opinion, one of the better Premiership officials. Dyer. Shearer, lovely layoff. It was a cheeky effort, and Robinson was alert and had to be to deny what would have been the most unpopular goal of the day.
Well, he just had a rollicking for Craig Bellamy for not giving him the ball, Lee Bowyer, but it was a good attempt, wasn't it? You know, we have seen him. I remember one game that we did, Leeds against West Bromwich Albion last season at the Hawthorns. He scored a fabulous goal when he curled one into the top corner. Very similar in many respects to the attempt that he's tried to put past Paul Robinson there.
Woodgate knew he was not going to get an easy ride from Paducah. He knows all about him. Into the final minute. of an entertaining first half. Wilcox. Smith.
3 attempts for Alan Smith, and certainly not to register a goal so far, but his overall performance has been one of the features of this first half. But this is the opportunity for Lee Bowyer, and we talked about it. We've seen it last season where he's got the ability to curl it towards the top corner. Paul Robinson in the end made it look very easy, didn't he?
Newcastle with the most goal attempts on target. Bernard. Bellamy kept going, but Viduka took the ball off him. Kelly finding Smith, was all alone, waiting for support. Did well. Viduka, free kick. So the earlier challenge on Alan Smith.
Looking at Bellamy and Smith, there's been a few yellow cards between them, haven't they, over the years?
A couple of minutes of time will be added. Kelly's free kick aimed at Smith. Now, who did that come off? Smith thinks it's going to be a corner. He's going to be disappointed. Over the head of Kelly, Robert's header on. And Radaby slicing his clearance. It's actually gone onto the roof, I think. No, it's back now. You can see the funny side. Hugely popular character here, of course, Lucas Radaby. Been at Leeds for 9 years now, the South African. Woodgate takes no chances with the half almost complete. Hughes, good ball. Camera. Bit short there for Radaby. Sacco. Oh, brilliant. Still going. Referee was going to blow the whistle. Has, in fact, blown the whistle. Was waiting to see if any real advantage came Leeds' way.
He's getting a standing ovation, isn't he, Sacco? He really has become a firm favourite already with these Leeds United fans.
Smith. Wilcox trying to get in space. Half-time in the first match of the season at Ellen Road. Peter Reid asked for greater commitment and effort from his players than he saw in pre-season. He's had that. He's also had some wonderful moments of skill and pace and imagination from one of his debutants, Lamine Sacco. And he's had a goal from Mark Viduka. It cancelled out the earlier strike that gave Newcastle the lead from the penalty spot. Scored by who else? Alan Shearer. Pretty even all round at Ellen Road, and an even scoreline as they go back into the dressing rooms at half-time. It's Leeds United 1, Newcastle United 1. No changes by either manager during the half-time interval as Leeds United prepare to get the second half underway. Less than 2 years ago, they led the Premiership for several weeks. They finished third, and in the same period they were semi-finalists in the Champions League and the UEFA Cup. The club's fall from grace has been as fast and spectacular as any I can remember in recent times. But this is a new era, with a new man in charge, of course, some new players as well. And I think that first 45 minutes will have given the home fans more cause for optimism than they had before the ball was kicked for the first time in anger. Here's Robert for Newcastle. Great run, but a very lightweight shot at the end of it. And immediately Sacco in action again. And a little incident off the ball involving Bowyer and Matteo. Here's Viduka. Free kick. Wonderfully adept touch, hasn't he, for such an enormous man. Matteo. Kelly's come in from the right-hand side, and a good ball for Smith, headed away by Woodgate.
I think it's an important start to the second half for both sides. I think that Bobby Robson would have been saying to his side, we've got to step up the pace a little bit more. I think we've got to be a little bit more forceful from an attacking point of view. And I'm sure Peter Reid will be saying, hey, listen, pretty much the same again, chaps. We really did well in that first 45 minutes. We were nice and bright, nice and lively, especially this fella, Sacco. It looks as if Peter's found a real find there.
And he's cleverly won the first corner of the second half for Leeds. Now trying to block the view of Shea Given. Just over the head of Radaby. Wilcox couldn't keep it in. Goal kick. So Bobby Robson now entering his 36th year in management, and would you believe he faced Leeds in his very first game in charge when he was given the Fulham job back in 1968 and lost 5-0 to them.
Not a bad career since, has he?
No, he recovered from that blow, didn't he? 70 now. Goal kick.
I know when I spoke to Peter during the summer, he was very desperate to bring in Kevin Blackwell from Sheffield United, and I think that a lot of people felt that Blackwell had a huge impact at Sheffield United given the success that they had last season. And I know so far Peter's absolutely delighted with his new number 2.
And with his new number 10, Sacco. Oddly enough, he did have one of his backroom team at Sunderland, Bobby Saxton, a real character whose nickname was Sacco, and I'm not quite sure if Peter Reid can get used to calling his new French import by the same name.
Look very similar, don't they?
I think there's a couple of stone difference. But he certainly made an instant impact with the home crowd here. Smith, Viduka, won back well by Bernard. The Frenchman's given it away. Smith. Could have tested Given that. Oh yeah. And now Dyer. Well won back by Radaby.
I think he's another feature of this Leeds United season, because if they can keep Lucas Radaby fit, he's an integral part of their success defensively, because he's such a great organiser. He's got so much respect from everybody here on the playing staff at Leeds.
Shearer. Good challenge from Johnson, but it's spun kindly for Bellamy. And now for Robert. Speed. Smith. Hunting down the ball at every opportunity. Got a little bit carried away there, but well, there might be caution for that final challenge. There's nothing wrong with the earlier two, but that one was a bit late.
I think he feels a little bit hard done by. I think that he felt that he got the ball and he may well have carried through and got Bernard at the same time. It was very tight towards the touchline. We know how committed Alan Smith is. Yeah, it's clearly a foul, and I think he's pleading his innocence to say that he was going for the ball, but it's not quite enough. It's certainly not going to be quite enough in the eyes of Alan Wiley.
Well, it's a pretty stern lecture. Will it end with a yellow card? No.
Again, the referee being very sensible. He's given Smith the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps his first rash tackle. I talked about this a little bit earlier. If he can discipline himself, he's just concentrating on the football side of his game, then he's a fine young player.
The home fans not convinced that Bernard is really injured, but if they could see the pictures you're seeing now, I think they might change their mind. Robert swings the free kick in towards Bellamy. Radaby's clearance finds Viduka. Olivier Benard still off the pitch, but they want to bring him on again. Shearer, good ball for Bellamy, and a foul on Shearer as he played it away. Wins a free kick for Newcastle. It's quite a long way out. I don't know whether Shearer will regard this as a scoring opportunity.
I think either Alan Shearer or Laurent Robert will fancy their chances from this distance. We've seen in the past neither of them are shy to take an opportunity like this on. Both have got the ability to beat goalkeeper from this range.
Robinson might know what to expect. Whether he can deal with it is another matter. Well, it was surely not 10 yards away when Morris came out and made that block. Smith again, giving no time on the ball to opponents. Looked like a handball by Bellamy, who's got himself involved in a little bit of nonsense with Seth Johnson, two fiery characters.
Jonathan Woodgate's done very well, you know, he just stepped in between both players. He could see that it was going to get out of hand. You know, neither of them are shrinking violets, are they? Johnson and Bellamy, and it's still going on.
And Johnson has been cautioned, remember. Once again, you can only admire the way Mr. Wiley has dealt with these incidents rather than flashing yellow cards. Common sense has prevailed. It's a Newcastle throw. Speed missed the header and gets another chance, but happy for the throw. Tough start Newcastle face. They're home to Manchester United next Saturday. They also face Arsenal away in September. Their Champions League campaign continuing as well, of course, or at least they hope it'll continue into the real thing. 1-0 up from the first leg of their qualifier against Partizan.
Well, we were talking about at half-time, weren't we? Perhaps the travel back during the course of the week. You know, they look a little bit sluggish at the moment, you know, Newcastle United. They haven't got that same verve and pace to their game that we saw on the majority of the occasions last year, and I think Leeds have taken advantage of that.
Smith trying to do just that. Yes, Newcastle had a tough match on Wednesday night, flew back after the game, didn't get back to the northeast till the early hours of Thursday morning. Leeds United have just had a week on the training ground. Dyer. Robert. Oh, what a cross. Can he reach it though, Boya? No. Matteo there ahead of him. And Matteo had a little swing at his former clubmate there. I must say, Boya's kept control of his emotions pretty well so far.
That's important. I think Peter Reid is just up off the bench very, very quickly there and saying to Dominic Matteo, just calm down. You know, the captain of the side. You don't need to get involved in situations like that.
Bellamy. Clever ball. Here is Boya. Oh, great block by Matteo. And he's hurt himself doing it. Still lying on the ground as the attack goes on.
Well, they need to get the ball out of play because he really is struggling. You know, he's no stranger to injuries, Dominic Matteo.
But ironically, Leeds are building a promising attack. Matteo is still lying on the ground at the other end of the field. Well, Leeds had the opportunity to put the ball out and didn't, so you can't really fault Newcastle for carrying on here. Robert. Bellamy is back on his feet now, but can he make a proper challenge? He did.
Well, he just made an incredible recovery, Dominic Matteo, because moments earlier he was prone inside his own box, and he's really got to just get a grip of things at the moment. the former Liverpool player. You know, he got involved earlier with Bowyer, then he gets involved with a great challenge when Bowyer looked as if he was odds on to score. It looks as if he's seriously injured, looks as if he's going to be down for a while, and then he's back up on his feet, and then he's looking to get involved with Craig Bellamy. But it's a fabulous ball. You can see there that Bowyer gets the other side of him and he just throws himself, and perhaps just the awkwardness of that fall resulted in perhaps a tweak of the ankle, not quite sure, but he was down for an awful long time.
Matteo had another operation in the summer on his knee problem, also had an ankle injury as well, which prevented him from playing in most of the pre-season games. And once again, Mr. Wiley has decided that a ticking off was sufficient. I think if Matteo or Bellamy crosses his path again, though, the cards will have to come out.
Which is how it should be. Which is definitely how it should be.
Oh, a mistake has given it to Smith. Newcastle have shot themselves in the foot. Alan Smith gives Leeds United the lead.
Well, that's nothing more than he deserved, Alan Smith. He really has led the line superbly well, much to the adulation of his teammates and his fans, but I'm afraid Olivier Bernard is the culprit. And he knows, and his teammates know, and they're just consoling him. And it's moments like that can just change the course of a football match. But they've been together, they've been a unit, Leeds United. They've scrapped, they've battled, and it really is about chasing hopeless causes. And that's exactly what Alan Smith did. He just chased the hopeless cause. You know, 9 times out of 10, Olivier Bernard would have got that ball back to his goalkeeper. But Smith reads the situation, one touch, and the second touch is through Shay Given's legs and in the back of the net. It's a great finish, and he's deserved that goal.
Shearer at the other end. Robert's shot. Well, as you mentioned, Alan Smith is certainly not a prolific goal scorer. He's only averaged about half a dozen goals a season in the last 3 years. Just scored 9 in 43 appearances last season. Off and running for the new campaign, and so are Leeds.
Well, I think we're going to see Didier Domi. I don't think that Dominic Matteo is going to continue. And, well, this is an important period for both sides. We said that, really, didn't we, when Newcastle scored the first goal.
More danger. I wonder if Bernard is still feeling the injury from that earlier knock, and maybe that's contributed to his rather uncertain couple of minutes here.
Oh, what an incredible scoreline. You know, what odds would you have got after almost an hour of this football match that Leeds will be leading the game, given the problems that they've had pre-season, given how well Newcastle have looked?
Newcastle defended that corner well.
There seems to be a greater passion, doesn't there, about Leeds United? It's understandable, you know, they're the home side. And I think they're the underdog today. They've come into this game and everybody felt that Newcastle would come and win this match. Well, you know, 1 or 2 people out there are just proving the doubters wrong.
And oddly enough, even last season when they came so close to relegation, scoring goals wasn't really Leeds United's problem. They managed 58 in the Premiership. Only the top 5 clubs could better that record, but they conceded 57, and that's their problem. Domi, a former Newcastle United player, is going to come on now for the other new man, Lamine Sacco, who goes off quite literally to a standing ovation. Listen to this. Peter Reid will be delighted with 1 new player's contribution, and now another, a more defensive-minded player. Didier Domi takes Sacco's place on the left. Player who, of course, spent over 2 years at Newcastle United, made over 50 appearances for them. Viduka's header. Smith is well placed in the middle again here. Wilcox on the ball. Given away by the former Blackburn man. Robert showing great pace and control. Morris with the tackle. If Peter Reid wanted to see some steel from his players, they couldn't have answered the question any better than they have so far. Sacco, incidentally, has gone off because of a calf problem. But what a very good debut he's had. Dyer. Robert. Had his feet taken by Morris.
There's certainly been one or two situations that have just spilled over a little bit, and as we've said all along, the referee has handled it superbly well. But again, it's another opportunity from that distance that Alan Shearer or Laurent Robert loves to maybe take a pop on goal.
He'll do well to get the ball off Shearer. But it's looking like it's shaping up, perhaps, for Robert. Maybe it's just a little decoy. It isn't. Robert will take it. And it wasn't so far over.
He's slightly disappointed not to hit the target from this distance. But so far so good for Leeds United. And this is where they need to keep together. And we talked about them having a good shape and a good structure to their performance. Well, over an hour gone now, and they've shown that. They've stayed together. They look very fit, and they certainly look up for the battle.
O'Brien's clearance. Foul by Johnson. Bernard seems to have recovered from the injury, if not from the mistake that led to Alan Smith's goal. Dyer. One back by Mattia. Now Domi being booed now by the visiting fans.
He's a little bit unfortunate, Domi, but we talked about him being a more defensive-minded player, and I think one thing Leeds are going to have to be careful about is just not to sit back and allow Newcastle to come at them, because, you know, the visitors have got plenty of quality in their side, and they're more than capable of scoring goals.
Camera has not obviously been as spectacular as Sacco, but nonetheless his performance will be very encouraging to Peter Reid. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, he's been very effective, and I think you can see he's got a lot of pace. One of the things that Peter was talking about beforehand was saying he's very used to playing a man-on-man type of system in France, you know, and I think that one of those worries were whether he would just get drawn out of position. Well, that hasn't happened. Him and Radaby have stuck together, and they've looked very good as a unit so far.
Leeds 2-1 in front. Bernard has given it away. He really is having a torrid time at the moment. Viduka. Robert back to help his rather beleaguered French teammate. Speed. Hughes. This is Boya. Shearer. Well, the combination of Johnson and Morris in midfield have worked very hard for Leeds today. But their hard work is far from done yet. Robert. Another spectacular effort from Robert, but he's not getting any nearer the target.
Well, we talked about him being the player that has the most strikes in the Premier League last season. Well, I think he's going to be odds on this year, the way that this game has started. Looks a bit pensive, doesn't it, Sir Bobby? He won't be altogether happy with his team's performance, but he'll know that Leeds have been up for the task. You know, they've battled his side very well, made it very difficult. Perhaps contemplating changes. The player that scored the goal during midweek, Solano, potentially could bring him on.
Alan Shearer. Boya picks out Hughes. Dyer, named in the England squad. Robert. Shearer coming in on the back post, won the header, but the linesman's flag. You can only imagine for a foul by Shearer. I don't know whether Bellamy could have been offside, but anyway, it's a free kick to Leeds.
Yeah, I think it was Bellamy offside, I think, as Alan Shearer won that header. But again, Robert just slinging a long ball in from a long distance out, and as you can see there, Shearer's head it, and Craig Bellamy just the wrong side, I think.
Clearance by O'Brien to Bowyer. Shearer. Well played, Johnson. Viduka. Again, silky skills, but overdid it. Bellamy onside. Well, there appears to be no great love lost between Dominic Matteo and Craig Bellamy. And another late challenge by Morris. That was unnecessary, and that will have tried even Mr. Wiley's patience.
Yeah, you can have no doubts about that, can he? Yeah, I said to Reedy that there's one thing, his side probably won't get into Europe via the Fair Play League this year with Alexa Jody Morris and Seth Johnson in the middle of midfield. And you can see by challenges like that, I think that's just criminal, really. And you know, it's about making sure that you keep focused. You know, they've done so well, Leeds United, to get to this point. They're 2-1 ahead. You don't really want to see your players making challenges like that, because you know it's going to lead to yellow cards and perhaps ultimately red cards, and then you're conceding free kicks in dangerous areas.
Taken this one by Robert, cleared by Radovic. 3 cautions now for Leeds. They had 69 last season. Only Birmingham a worse record. Here's speed. Well saved, Robinson.
Well, they got lucky, didn't they? They got lucky, Leeds United. It's Gary Speed, trademark run into the box. You can see there, Dominic Matteo dropping very deep, and it just goes beyond the Newcastle United midfield player. But full marks to Paul Robinson. He had to be brave, he had to be agile.
Hold it up. No passing, Dave.
Shearer in strongly with Kelly. And the throw, as you can see, has gone Leeds' way.
I think Leeds are going to have to be just a little bit careful. They don't take their foot off the gas too much. I think they're quite happy to allow Newcastle plenty of possession. You know, it's warm out there. It's the first game of the season, and the first real competitive game of the season. And 1 or 2 players feeling it.
Viduka. Smith will keep going here. Leeds lost 19 of their 38 league games last season. Only the bottom 2, West Brom and Sunderland, suffered more defeats. You can get the winning habit in football, you can also get the losing habit. Hughes. Matteo in a tangle with Dyer, Johnson rather, in a tangle, and it's a lovely ball for Hughes. Shearer far post, his knockback. And a poor effort in the end. Oh, you're disappointed with that.
Again, it's an example, though, isn't it? They're getting closer and closer, Newcastle, because they're getting time, they're getting room. It's an opportunity to get more players forward. Just look at the amount of black and white shirts that are in the box. And I think that's fairly evident now of the amount of space that Leeds United are allowing them, and, well, certainly having more of the share of goal attempts. And now, Sir Bobby looking to make changes, just freshening things up. Can they get that equaliser?
Smith has found himself in the clear again, almost. Woodgate denying him. Hughes. Well, Smith has worked so hard today. He's been a shining example to the rest of his teammates. 20 minutes to go. Bowyer. Now Domia's caught him.
Well, it certainly doesn't look as if the Frenchman's going to get the benefit of the doubt. And Alan Wiley thinks enough's enough. He catches Lee Bowyer round about the left ankle. And this is an opportunity for the Leeds manager just to get 1 or 2 instructions onto the field now. He's got the likes of Seth Johnson, Alan Smith, Mark Viduka, and it's important that they take on board what their manager's saying to them, and they stay disciplined, and can they see this remaining period out? Because, well, what a fantastic boost this would be if they can come away from a match against Newcastle United, one of the favourites to go close in the Premiership this season, with 3 points.
Robert on another mazy run. Comes out to speed. Now Bernard. Carries speed again. Away by Radovi. This is Domi for Leeds. Viduka. Matteo got that one wrong. No way forward for Woodgate. Hughes. Domi came in with a late burst again. Good ball by Boya, but it was well read by Kamara. Viduka. Offside is the verdict, and Newcastle are going to make a double substitution now. So Bobby, with all his experience, never afraid to gamble, and I guess that's what it is at this stage. Genus and Amiobi are going to come on. Robert in possession. Dyer. Bernard. That's wasteful.
He certainly had one of those days, doesn't he? And you do feel sorry for the Frenchman. Nothing he seems to have done has come off well for him today. And this is the substitutions that were expected.
Jermaine Genus, who's in the England under-21 squad to face Croatia at Upton Park on Tuesday, and so too the man who's coming on alongside him, Shola Amiobi. Lebo, you're going off to, well, I guess you wouldn't really call it a warm reception.
Not even lukewarm.
And probably Olivier Bernard, yes, to save him from further punishment, I think you could say. Two excellent players to be able to bring off the bench. And here's the thing: they haven't seen this far in proper competitive action for a long time. Wilcox comes off, and David Batty will come on for his first Premiership appearance for 16 months. He didn't play a single game last season. This is his 360th appearance for the club he loves. And he, of course, continues the old boys angle. He was 3 years a Newcastle player, played over 100 times for them.
What an ovation he got from the Newcastle fans, and it looks as if David Batty now just stiffening up the midfield. He'll play 5 across that midfield. Alan Smith will go into a wide right position, just leave Mark Viduka up front on his own, and they're just going to try and contain and see out the remaining 15 minutes or so of this football match, Leeds.
Bellamy. Come out to Dyer. It's a good ball. Amiobi's offside, I think, and Genus, who headed it in.
Yeah, there's no complaints, was it, from the Newcastle players, and they knew. Jermaine Genus there. Well, it was close, wasn't it? Very, very close indeed, but just enough. And just send Craig Bellamy to this right-hand side, and Amiobi will play alongside Alan Shearer down the middle, and hope that Bellamy's pace will get them in behind Dominic Matteo. Matteo just struggling a wee bit since that injury. It should be an interesting battle between those two, because we've seen already they've had 1 or 2 spats in this game.
Here's Amiobi. It was an excellent run by the substitute, and he's won a corner. Usual huge travelling support. The Toon Army willing an equaliser here. Dyer. Genus. Back out again to Laurent Robert. Shearer! Oh! You really would have expected a goal.
Oh, he did very well, didn't he, Alan Shearer? You know, trademark position, almost a trademark header. He just drifts towards the far post, finds himself between two players. There's Camara and Matteo, and you'd have thought that they might have just had that height to deal with that situation. Just narrowly wide.
Top scorer in each of his 7 seasons on Tyneside, Shearer. And of course already off the mark for this new campaign. But his team are losing. Batty. Onto Johnson. Paducah did well. Domi. And on to Smith. Will clash with O'Brien, and the Newcastle man was the winner there. Very calm play by Woodgate. Now speed. Leeds with Johnson, Batty and Morris all in midfield. It's going to be pretty competitive in that part of the pitch. Robert, Amiobi. Good football from Newcastle United. Sweeping move. Bellamy. Dyer just got closed down quickly by Batty. Still probing, but kept the ball for so long in this move. Look how many Leeds players are behind the ball, though. Shearer, good one for Dyer. Can he get there? Excellent defending. Superb play by Lucas Radovic.
Got nothing to hit though, Alan. That's the problem. You play one up front, everybody's getting behind the ball, encouraging lots of Newcastle pressure. It'll be a fascinating end to this game now.
Amiobi, Bellamy. Shearer is far post. Onto Hughes. Ball. And he knows it.
Well, the way that Leeds are set up, it's really going to give Newcastle United plenty of opportunities to get forward.
Well, can I remind you that on Sky Sports 1, a little later this afternoon, Liverpool played Chelsea at Anfield. What a fixture to kick off the new season on Merseyside. That match starts at 4 minutes. 12 minutes to go here in what's been a fascinating game throughout. Newcastle with Manchester United to come at St James's Park next week. Would really want something out of this game if they can. Morris.
He's not renowned, is he, for his goal-scoring ability, Jody Morris, but he's put in a great shift this afternoon. You know, he's protected the back four really well. I think him and Seth Johnson, certainly unsung heroes, but they've all battled for their manager. You know, they really have done themselves incredibly proud, and well, Newcastle may well have had the lion's share of possession. You know, the scoreline at the moment is reading quite surprisingly: Leeds United 2, Newcastle 1.
Morris, it's a lovely ball, well read by Hughes. Rather like Leeds, scoring goals is not a problem for Newcastle. They got a healthy 63 last season, and they failed to score only once in their last 27 Premiership matches, but they too do tend to concede goals. Dyer. Bellamy. Good cross. Shearer on the far post. Speed behind him. Splendid one-handed save by Robinson. But it's all Newcastle pressure at the moment, with now 10 minutes remaining.
Well, they need an outlet, don't they, Leeds United? It's very difficult for them. They're playing the ball at the moment, and they're allowed to play the ball. But really, when they get their head up, there's nothing really to hit in an advanced position.
Paducah, that lone man they can seek out. Domi. Morris.
Oh, well played, very clever. Kept possession well, got themselves a free kick. It gets everybody up the field.
Johnson's kick early, looking for Viduka.
Well, this is the problem, really, you know, when you're giving the opposition plenty of possession, and in this case, Newcastle United, you don't want to see the likes of Alan Shearer and Gary Speed looking to head balls at the far post, because both prolific headers of the ball.
This is Dyer. Amiobi. O'Brien, keep your shape is the advice to the Leeds players from their bench. And they've done that very well since they took the lead. Kieran Dyer. Genus alongside him. On to Bellamy. Genus again. Gary Speed tries the cross, and Radaby dealt with it. Oh, well played, Smith. Morris has got no one in an advanced position other than the man on the ball now, Viduka.
I think the big fella's just got to get in the corner, try and waste some time. This is one thing, there's not many players in white shirts going to try and support him.
Well, we can be certain that Newcastle will enjoy a lot of possession in the closing 8 minutes here. What we can't be certain of is whether they'll make best use of it. Hughes. That's a much better cross. Shearer! Oh, an amazing stop right on the goal line by Lucas Radaby.
Well, they call him the Chief. No wonder why. Absolutely brilliant by Lucas Radaby. How did that not go in?
The coolest man around. Kelly wins it back. Batty, Robert in quickly.
Oh, this is a fabulous chance. And we talked about the possession, we talked about the crosses coming in from wide areas, and we certainly talked about the quality of Alan Shearer's heading skills, and absolutely brilliant by the Leeds United centre-back Lucas Radaby.
And if the header hadn't gone in, Genus was surely in a position to force the ball over the line. Laurent Robert is coming off to be replaced by Nobby Solano, who, by the way, has got a very good scoring record against Leeds. 4 goals in his 7 previous Premiership matches against them. Header by Genus, then by Speed. The Leeds tactics plain to see now. With 6 minutes to go, they're just intent on holding on to their lead rather than trying to build on it. Genus. Short, and with Smith around, it was never going to be an easy ball, and he and Gary Speed have a little friendly spat.
Well, that's a sense of his maturity, isn't it? You know, he hasn't reacted to that situation. And he knows at the moment his team need him. He's now having to play wide right instead of down the middle, where he's done a brilliant job for his side. And Leeds are having to play this way, Alan. You know, they have no alternative. You know, Peter Reid knows that, you know, they're desperate to kick off with 3 points. A lot of people tell you in the game, you know, try not to lose your first game. Well, at the moment, Leeds are trying not to lose their first game, and Newcastle are a very good side.
And Hughes has conceded a corner, just what Leeds United need at this stage. Well, a lot of stories, as I mentioned in the Sunday papers, that the chairman might be in a position where Smith has to be the latest big-name departure. That would be catastrophic for Leeds. Good ball in by Morris, was it? Yes, Smith made it into a good ball. Oh, well played. Those long legs of Amiobi carrying him out of trouble and into a threatening position. And a good ball for Bellamy now. Genus is in the middle, so is Solano. Dyer. Ambitious.
Well, it was a good opportunity, wasn't it, for Newcastle United? It actually came from a Leeds United corner. And Leeds had managed to get one or two extra players in a more advanced position, and it very nearly got caught out. And you can see Peter Reid there just saying, keep your shape, especially in midfield. Keep that 5. Try and protect the back 4.
I'm sure everyone will remember that last season Newcastle had a fabulous record in their Premiership games following Champions League action. They were unbeaten in 14 Premier games following European matches. Maybe that record's about to end here today. Amiobi. Clearance by Domi. They're clinging on now, Leeds. Hughes finds Solano. Foul. It gives Newcastle a golden opportunity to get the ball in that Leeds penalty area. The free kick's gone short to Hughes. Now in it goes. And it's come to Shearer! Cometh the hour, cometh the man. How often have we said that? The skipper delivers when it matters yet again.
Well, they'll get more and more of the ball, Newcastle United, putting more and more pressure on Leeds, but I was saying earlier how well the 2 centre-backs for Leeds United were looking as a pair. You know, they looked together, they had a good understanding, but when this ball comes into the box, it all goes horribly wrong. You can see them both going for the same ball, and when that ball drops at the feet of one player, there's one thing Leeds United fans won't want to see, it's Alan Shearer, and he makes no mistake in situations like that. You can see there the 2 centre-backs get it totally wrong, and Shearer makes them pay.
Well, Alan Shearer scored a hat-trick on this ground for Blackburn Rovers 10 years ago. Can he repeat the feat? Because now, suddenly, Leeds United must be fearing defeat. A couple of minutes of normal time, whatever Mr. Wiley decides to add for stoppages, and there have been a fair number of substitutions as well. The impetus is certainly with the visitors now. And he knows it, how quickly this game could change.
Well, they weren't far away, were they, from a memorable result, and now it'll feel like a massive defeat, even if they draw this game. But they've got to keep going. You know, they've got to keep showing those battling qualities. But full credit to Newcastle United. You know, that's why they will be challenging for honours at the end of the season, because they've got character in their team. The game looked as if it was running away from them, but they really got a goal out of nothing.
Bellamy. The home fans nervously eyeing their watches now. Hughes. Domi wins it back. Batty. On to Morris. A very significant change in mood here now. Domi. That's poor. And those visiting Geordies really believe their team can take all 3 points home. Batty.
Well, they've missed something, haven't they, from the game when Sacco went off. You know, he was giving them that surge on that left-hand side for Leeds, and he was actually taking the game to Newcastle, and he was stretching the visitors, he was forcing them back. They haven't really had that since he's left the field.
Amiobi. I don't think there's any doubt that on the balance of play, Newcastle deserved something from this game, but Leeds, as you say, were so close. Dyer. Solano. Shearer's there again. Brilliant defending this time by Camara. Solano back in. Smith back defending. 4 minutes of stoppage time, I understand, and that's significant perhaps as Bellamy takes on the Leeds defence and wins a corner.
Well, can they make it through the last 4 minutes? It really has been a tense affair.
Bellamy's had something to say to the referee there, and he really has literally talked himself into trouble. That's so unnecessary. They've got the corner. Why didn't he just zip it? Smith it was who headed it away. Hughes. Shearer. On to Amiobi. Clever little ball for speed. Shearer, they're queuing up on the back post. Gary Speed. This is Dyer. On to Solano. In towards Amiobi. It's too deep. Goal kick.
They look very tired players, don't they, at the moment, Leeds United. You can see they're looking around, they're just looking for some respite, you know. Can somebody get the ball and take it forward, and take it away from their own back four, because the ball just seems to be coming back like a magnet towards the Leeds defence.
Well, considering they had that tough game in midweek, Newcastle have lasted the pace exceptionally well. Still around a couple of minutes remaining at Ellen Road. Still time for a winner. Good ball by Hughes, out to Solano, and a great ball in by him. Bellamy. This is Shearer. Held it up well. Gary Speed. The captain again. Leeds are now clinging on for dear life here. Woodgate. O'Brien. Into Genus. And on again to Gary Speed. Bellamy takes over. Hughes. Now Amiobi. And the linesman's flag here. A foul by Shola Amiobi. Sherpilling.
You can see those Leeds fans, really, you know, they can't wait for the referee to blow that whistle. You know, a point's going to be enough for them. They know coming into this game that it was Newcastle United that were the favourites. They were expecting the worst. I think they are in general about the season, but I'm sure they've admired their team's fighting qualities today. You know, they've stuck together. And they're going to need that in the coming months.
And Bobby Robson still on that touchline, urging and cajoling his players. Most 70-year-olds would be content with a bit of gardening on a Sunday. Bellamy. Could this be the last throw of the dice for Newcastle United? One back by Leeds. Referee's had a little glance at the watch. Smith hits it as deep as he can. The end of a splendidly entertaining 90 minutes at Ellen Road. Alan Shearer spoiled things for Peter Reid. Great respect shown by the two managers to each other, and I'm sure to their players. That's good to see. The tough Scouser and the amiable Geordie have a lot in common, even though there's so many years between them. And the youngsters too show their respect. Former teammates who played significant roles in their team's performances here today. Alan Smith was excellent. Woodgate, a tower at the back for Newcastle United. Sacco had an absolutely splendid Premiership debut for Leeds United. It was a good game all round. The Duca bringing Leeds level after Alan Shearer had given Newcastle the lead from the penalty spot. Smith firing Leeds in front. Shearer with the late equaliser. A draw, a fair result. Newcastle will feel in terms of chances created. Maybe they deserved all 3 points, but Leeds, for their battling qualities, also deserve to take something out of this game. The Premiership has come up with another winner. The final score here at Ellen Road, Leeds United 2, Newcastle United 2.